Shun Qingqing hid something behind her back and forced a crooked smile. Qiao Nian, why are you back so soon? Qiao Nian didn't think much of it. She pulled out a chair and Saturday Lao Shan talked to me for a bit, then told me to come back. Oh. Shun Qingqing nodded, eyes skittering away. Qiao Nian noticed but let it go, thumbing her phone. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw Shun Qingqing exhale in relief, then glanced down at whatever she was hiding, face tight with indecision. A note. It was obviously something she'd found on Qiao Nian's seat. Why hide a note? And be so nervous about it? During physics, Shun Qingqing was miles away. When the teacher called on her, she couldn't even repeat the question. Even Liang Bowen noticed and planned to ask her about it during morning exercises. But Shun Qingqing slipped out without a word. Qiao Nian pocketed her phone and followed the crowd out, which made Liang Bowen and Shun Yuan stare. Sister Nian, you're coming to morning exercises? Liang Bowen blurted. Shun Yuan looked equally puzzled. Qiao Nian hated crowds and had Shun Hui's permission to skip. Usually she stayed in the classroom, scrolling her phone. Why today? I'm just going to take a look, she said, not mentioning Shun Qingqing. Liang Bowen scratched his head. I've never seen you go downstairs. Girls are impossible to figure out. Shun Yuan, suddenly solemn, patted his shoulder. Might be that time. Liang Bowen went speechless. Respect. Morning exercises packed the field, music blaring, bodies everywhere. Qiao Nian trailed Shun Qingqing, who didn't head for the track. Instead, she veered behind the teaching block, clearly avoiding their class. Shun Qingqing was the rule-following type. If she was skipping, there was a reason. Qiao Nian hesitated, then followed. Behind the block, it was empty, the exercise music faint through the concrete. Shun Qingqing stopped at the rear field and looked around like she was waiting for someone who hadn't shown. A setup. A sharp crack sounded above. Qiao Nian looked up, scrap piled on the top floor, landing tipped over the railing. It was falling straight towards Shun Qingqing. Her body moved before her mind did. Watch out. Move. She sprinted. Shun Qingqing turned at her shout, confused. Qiao Nian. She looked up and saw the cascade. Too late. Qiao Nian slammed into her, shoving her clear. They hit the ground and rolled. A steel rod clipped Qiao Nian's forearm, tearing skin. Metal crashed behind them with a deafening clang. Half an hour later, Shun Hui, Liang Bowen, Shun Yuan, and several Class A students hurried into the infirmary. Sister Nian, are you okay? Qiao Nian, how are you? They stopped short at the sight. The doctor was finishing the dressing on her forearm. A pale arm, a clean bandage, a faint halo of blood seeping through. Qiao Nian looked a little drained, but calm, almost untouched by pain. Shun Qingqing burst into tears, covering her face. Nian, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't know that would happen. Shun Hui exhaled in relief and patted Qiao Nian's shoulder. Are you all right? It's just a scrape, Qiao Nian said, lifting her arm to show it wasn't broken. Liang Bowen moved to hush Shun Qingqing. Why are you crying like that? It's not a good look. Can't you see Sister Nian's fine? Shun Qingqing stared at the floor, guilt-stricken. It's my fault. If she hadn't fallen for that note, if she hadn't gone to check. Liang Bowen wiped her tears, still gentle. It's over. Stop crying. You're going to annoy Sister Nian. Do you want her comforting you with an injured arm? I don't. She scrubbed at her face, cheeks flushed, eyes swollen like a startled rabbit, unsure what to do with herself. Shun Yuan kept his head. After confirming Qiao Nian was fine, he turned to Shun Hui. Teacher Shun, how did those steel rods just fall like that? Shun Hui had sprinted over the moment she heard someone was hurt and hadn't thought it through. Now that he said it, it was odd. Those rods had sat up there forever. Why today? The commotion drew Principal Yu and the Dean of Studies, along with a handful of curious students. Is Qiao Nian all right? Principal Yu asked the doctor, tense. He'd already called Yi Wangshuan. With her background, guardians had to be informed. Once he heard she was fine, he faced the dean. What happened? The dean rubbed his forehead. It appears accidental. It rained a few days ago. The rods must have shifted. The railing's old and rusty. It likely gave way, so the rods fell. So, just an accident? Principal Yu repeated, still uneasy. Shen Hui remembered Chen Yuan's point. Principal, we should investigate. Something feels off. Xiao Chun and Zhao Jingwei had slipped in, too. At Shun Hui's words, Zhao Jingwei went pale, stumbled back, and bumped into Qiao Chun. I'm sorry. Are you okay?
Hey everyone, Firescale Audiobooks here. If there's a novel you'd love to hear more of, you can support us on Patreon or Ko-fi. Depending on your tier, I'll make extra parts just for the stories you're most excited about. Usually I can only upload 4 to 5 parts of each novel, but with your support, we can go beyond that.
Qiao
And of
Chun was
course,
hurt
don't
by
forget
her
to hit
and
subscribe.
frowned
It helps more
unhappily.
than you know.
However, she noticed a nervous look on her face and understood. She shook her head and said, "It's all right." She looked at the look on Zhao Jingwei's face and remembered what happened when she was fired. Zhao Jingwei said that she wanted to teach Qiao Nian a lesson. Could it be that she was the one behind this accident? After realizing the truth, Qiao Chun immediately frowned. She didn't understand how it was that after Zhao Jingwei created such a big mess, she only hurt Qiao Nian's right arm. She felt that Zhao Jingwei was either incompetent or stupid. At the medical office, the dean of teaching froze for a while before asking, "Teacher Shun, how is this not an accident?" Shen Hui didn't know how to explain it to him. She couldn't tell him that one of the students suspected that it wasn't an accident. Furthermore, they didn't have any evidence. Suddenly, Qiao Nian stood up slowly. She held her shoulder as she looked at the crowd gathered outside and then said, "It wasn't an accident." The dean of teaching and Shun Hui looked at her. Even Principal Yu looked at her. He asked, "Qiao Nian, what do you mean it wasn't an accident?" Qiao Nian looked at Shun Qingqing. With a calm expression, she held onto her injured arm and answered nonchalantly, "Someone gave me a note to meet at the back of the block during the morning exercise." Shun Qingqing saw the note and thought that someone was trying to prank me. Hence, she went there alone. If I didn't find that something was amiss, she would have been the one injured. Hence, is this an accident? Would an accident be so severe? Everyone fell silent after what she said. They were shocked. First High School was the best high school in Rao City. The students would be punished for being late or for being absent. Nothing so severe had happened before. Principal Yu frowned. He then asked while giving Qiao Nian a serious look, "Qiao Nian, do you have any evidence to back up what you said?" This matter concerned the reputation of First High School. Hence, he must treat it seriously. Qiao Nian turned to Shun Qingqing and asked, "Qingqing, do you still have the note?" Shun Qingqing was still shocked that Qiao Nian knew about the note. It was only when Liang Bowen nudged her that she reacted. She frowned and answered, I threw it away." Shun Hui, Chen Yuan, and everyone else was disappointed. However, Qiao Chun and Zhao Jingwei breathed a sigh of relief. Qiao Chun then spoke amongst the crowd. "Principal, Teacher Shun, I believe this is just a misunderstanding." Since that she started shaking uncontrollably. It was as though she admitted that she was the culprit already. It was only when Qiao Chun pinched her that she calmed down. However, her expression was still guilty. It was obvious that she was the culprit. As Qiao Nian got hurt, she couldn't attend the afternoon class. Shen Hui got her to take 3 days of leave and asked her to rest at home. Shun Qingqing was shocked by her decision. Liang Bowen was supposed to send her to the hospital. When Qiao Nian was done grabbing her things, she told Chen Yuan and left the classroom. In the corridor, she noticed that a group of girls crowded together as they looked somewhere shyly, chatting amongst themselves. "Look at that handsome guy. Oh my, so handsome. Is he a celebrity? I don't know. I've never seen him on television. Why would he be at our school? Is he a parent? That can't be right. He looks so young. I'm not sure if he has a girlfriend. I want to ask for his WeChat." Young and looked better than a celebrity. Qiao Nian was reminded of a handsome person immediately. Just when she rejected that thought, she saw the man walking towards her. He was wearing a white shirt, which was a rare sight. His top buttons were undone, showing his neck. His eyes were deep, and his facial features made him look as though he was mixed blood. However, when you looked at his dark eyes, you would think that he couldn't be mixed blood. He walked over from the crowd. Even though there were so many people, The principal and the dean of teaching were next to him, explaining. He had a strong presence, making him stand out from the crowd. Young Master Yi. Regarding this, Principal Yi said as he walked beside him. However, Yi Wangchuan didn't care about what he was saying. He was looking for someone in the crowd. Finally, he found who he was looking for. He walked quickly towards her, leaving the crowd behind. As he stood in front of Qiao Nian, he took a long look at her carefully before asking with his low, raspy voice, "Are you still in pain?" He was so close to her that she could feel his breath. Qiao Nian could feel her heart racing in front of everyone as she stumbled. "I'm fine." She was still confused over why he could come to school. He was so attractive that everyone would be trying to find out who he was after today. Yi Wangchuan looked at her pale face. He felt that her eyelashes were really attractive. It also showed him that she wasn't happy. She didn't want him to be here. Even after knowing that she didn't want him to be here, Yi Wangchuan still smiled. He noticed the dressing on her wound, and he could even see the blood soaking through. His eyes turned cold as he suddenly carried her. It shocked Principal Yu and the rest. Yi Wangchuan didn't care about them. He looked at him coldly as he carried her and said, "Principal Yu, I won't repeat myself. You should know what to do." What he meant was that he was going to investigate it. Principal Yu was in a difficult situation. If this matter was investigated, it would definitely ruin the school's reputation. But since this reverent figure spoke, how could he refuse him as a mere principal? Young Master Yi, about this, he wasn't going to give up and wanted to fight for the school's reputation. However, the man responded in a warning voice. "I don't have many bad habits, but I have a bad temper. I'm the only one who can bully my people. If someone else bullies my people and I can't find that person, I can only look for the school." His voice was light and non-threatening, but it pressured the dean of teaching like a thunderbolt. Principal Yu originally wanted to fight for the school, but after Yi Wangchuan spoke, he could only nod. "I know, Yi Wangchuan. You should rest assured. The school will give Qiao Nian an explanation." "That's good." Yi Wangchuan's eyes were extremely cold. He glanced at Principal Yu politely but distantly. "I'll be taking her back first." "Okay." He was very tall, and he carried Qiao Nian away very quickly. Under everyone's gazes, his graceful figure gradually disappeared from their field of vision. The girls in front of Qiao Nian were all glued to the scene. This was too dramatic, right? In the past, everyone said that the boyfriend of the school belle was handsome, and people even shared his photos before. But compared to this man, he was simply average. Was this Qiao Nian's boyfriend? Even Principal Yu couldn't help but exclaim after looking at the two people leaving. "Dean Yang, would you protect your friend's sister like this?" Well, the dean didn't know what to say. He frowned and couldn't answer. "I guess I'd protect her as a friend, but I don't know if I'd go to that extent." That's right. Principal Yu didn't understand what he thought was weird. He only felt that the way young Master Yi came and his attitude towards Qiao Nian was not typical of a friend protecting his friend's sister. The way he swept her off her feet was more like how a man would treat his woman. However, considering the Yi family status in Beijing, how could young Master Yi be attracted to a girl who was in the third year of high school? Outside the school, a Phaeton was parked quietly outside. Goosen leaned on the side of the car. When he saw the two of them, he quickly opened the door and lowered his eyes as if he didn't see Yi Wangchuan carrying Qiao Nian. "Master Wang, you're back." "Yes." "Contact the orthopedics department and go to the city hospital." Yi Wangchuan gently put the girl in his arms in the car and lazily got inside. Qiao Nian avoided him as soon as she got in the car. She frowned and seemed to dismiss the injury on her arm. "We don't have to go to the hospital. My arm is just bruised. No bone is broken." When Goosen got in the car, he was unsure of whether he should go to the hospital. Yi Wangchuan's deep eyes were misty, and he didn't seem to respond to Qiao Nian's words. He seemed to close the car door casually, but he was forceful. "Go to the hospital." Goosen understood who called the shots and started the car. "Yes, Master Wang." Qiao Nian was speechless. The black Phaeton moved calmly on the road and flew past the surrounding scenery. Qiao Nian had nothing to say along the day. She sat next to the car window and looked out silently. Yi Wangchuan rubbed his forehead and looked at her sulking, porcelain-white face. He asked in a hoarse voice, "Are you angry?" The car ride was silent. Hence, when he spoke, Qiao Nian felt the need to reply to him. However, she didn't know how to reply to him. No. If she wasn't angry, why would she avoid him? Yi Wangchuan smiled as he leaned against the leather seat and stretched his entire body. Even though the car's internal space was huge, his long and slender legs made it look cramped. Do you feel that I shouldn't have carried you out like that? His voice control was excellent. His voice was raspy and nonchalant, so he sounded quite sexy. It was piercing as well, which made it seem as though he was speaking right next to her ear. It immediately felt weird in the car. Qiao Nian could feel that she was getting shy again. She could feel her face getting flushed, as she wasn't sure why he would suddenly mention it. I just felt that I could have walked myself. My arm is injured, not my legs. Yi Wangchuan blinked, dispersing the cold look in his eyes. He then said it in a way that couldn't be rebutted. But you're injured, after all. Gusen was worried for Qiao Nian as he drove. Master Wang, you're being too unreasonable. Qiao Nian pouted, causing her lips to look paler as she frowned. A hint of annoyance flashed in her eyes as she said, my arm injury doesn't affect the way I walk. I was fully capable of walking on my own. Few people in the school had seen a man like Yi Wangchuan before. She anticipated multiple rumors because of what he did when she went back to school. She didn't care about how others viewed her or what they said behind her back. But she hated trouble, which was something he created. He wasn't even from the Jiang family. He was just a friend to one of her cousins. However, now she felt that Yi Wangchuan was a part of her life. It felt like she couldn't put her finger on it. She just found that she would lose her cool and not know what to do when she encountered him. Just as Qiao Nian was zoning out, she didn't realize that she was trapped in the car. By the time she realized it, Yi Wangchuan was next to her. His slender limbs surrounded her. One of his hands was at the driver's seat for support, and his limbs formed a barrier around her. His top two buttons were undone. You could see his neck when he sat properly. But now, he was leaning over her, and Qiao Nian could see his overly attractive collarbone. She felt her breath quicken and her heart race. She could feel that she was getting flushed. Qiao Nian subconsciously leaned back and grabbed onto the seat, trying to get out of the situation. Yi Wangchuan noticed that she was getting flushed and smiled. It was as though he was teasing her as he looked deeply at her and said, shouldn't you be addressing me as a brother? Huh? Qiao Nian could feel his breath on her face, causing her heart to flutter. It was as though she wasn't in control of her body. Her whole face was flushed. She couldn't tell what was wrong. It just was. Yi Wangchuan's dark eyes could draw you in when you looked at them. He said, as though he was lying, address me as Brother Yi, and I will send you to the hospital out of my care for you as a senior. No need to be so nervous about it. Gusen witnessed it all through the rearview mirror. He almost lost control of the steering wheel over what he saw. Damn, Master Wang is shameless. How could he say something like this? You just cornered Miss Qiao in your car and told her that you're showing concern for her like an older brother? You're just trying to seduce her. He didn't dare to say what was on his mind and could only look at the two of them through the rearview mirror. Qiao Nian was shocked by what he said. Is this how a senior should care about a junior? As she pondered on it, Yi Wangchuan leaned away from her. It was as though nothing had happened as he leaned back in his seat. His hands were on his knees, and the bracelet on his wrist gave him an exotic look. He tapped on the seat next to her and said to Qiao Nian, come, have a seat. His voice was really attractive. Qiao Nian's feeling from just now had disappeared. She could feel herself calming down. She sat up straight and listened to him attentively. The school called your brother and grandpa. They're aware of what happened to you already. Your brother will only be back later. Hence, your grandpa asked me to come to have a look. Qiao Nian had forgotten about what happened. She looked at him and was pissed about how helpless she felt just now. She said, I just scraped my arm. No need to make such a big deal out of it. It was common for her to get hurt anyway. Xiao Weimin and them wouldn't notice it if she didn't mention it. Even when they did notice it, they would just ask where she got the injury from. They were more concerned that she would ruin the Qiao family's reputation. They didn't care if her injury was severe or if it required medical attention. Only Aunt Shin would care for her and dress her wound in the middle of the night secretly. She would even care for her and tell her to take care of herself as a girl. If she got injured and left scars on her body, she wouldn't look nice when she wore a dress. Yi Wangchuan looked down. Even though he may look calm on the outside, his internal anger was rising. He said, "Luckily, you only scrapped your arm. If the steel rod had landed on you, I wouldn't let this matter go so easily." Qiao Nian was speechless. She couldn't understand how this was considered as care from a senior. She felt that his concerns were different from Zhongli, but she couldn't put her finger on it. It just felt different. Yuan Chuan saw that she was frowning and thought that she was more concerned over whether the matter would become a big deal. He looked at her and said, "You were almost killed in first high school, but this is a huge matter. The school must be held responsible for this and find out the culprit. Else, both your grandpa and I can't be at ease." Qiao Nian replied, "I kind of already know who it is already, but I cannot be sure due to the lack of evidence." It was strange for Qiao Chan to speak out for the culprit and want to stop the investigation. Yuan Chuan saw that her hair was loose and tucked it behind her ear. Then he relaxed, maintaining his strong presence. He said, "You can find any evidence if you have a will to do so. Your principal is smart. He'll do his best in the investigation. Else, the school will have to take responsibility for this." Even though Qiao Nian's injury seemed like a really small matter, Wei Lu called her when she returned from the hospital. "Hello," Qiao Nian answered as she changed into a new set of clothes. She was just done showering and her hair was still wet. The new dressing on her arm felt inconvenient to her. Hence, she put him on the loudspeaker as she turned on her laptop. "Were there any updates about the material from the Red Alliance? Your arm is injured? Who did it? Is the Qiao family responsible? Damn, they're going too far. They're trying to take advantage just because you stayed with them for a couple of years." It was noisy from his end, and she could tell that he was outside. Wei Lu was furious. Qiao Nian could imagine him being so angry that he knocked over everything he saw. She switched hands as she lowered the phone's volume to prevent people from hearing it. She then slowly said, "I'm not sure if Qiao Chan was behind it. She isn't that dumb." She knew what kind of person Qiao Chen was. She was born with a silver spoon. She loved getting all the attention and didn't like it when Qiao Nian was successful. However, she wasn't someone that would do something like this. Qiao Chen likes to be pretentious. She wouldn't do something like pushing the steel rods down to hit someone. So who could it be? Wei Lu paused before exclaiming, "Qiao Nian, you're great at drawing hatred. Everyone is either trying to insult you or trying to kill you. Did you attract them on your own?" "I might have." As she spoke, she saw the message Slim Waste Control sent her. "Son, they replied to us that the amount is too little." "Fuck." She cursed uncontrollably. Wei Lu was surprised and exclaimed, "Why? What's the matter?" Qiao Nian couldn't be bothered to reply to him. She stared at the laptop angrily. They wanted more money. She almost flipped out. They were getting on her nerves. Qiao Nian was so angry that she smiled. She replied, "How about he robs the bank instead?" There was a notification. It was Slim Waste Control. "Slim Waste Control. Boss, are you joking? You make money faster than robbing the bank." Qiao Nian smiled and didn't know how to reply to him. It was true, a bank would have billions. However, this material was tightly controlled by all the countries. Even though the dark web had access to it, the seller was really mysterious. She would have to agree to their every request. Uncle Chin needed it for his spine. The little dude needed it as well. Qiao Nian thought for a while before telling Slim Waste Control to increase their offer again. If they were not willing to accept it, they could state their offer instead. After replying, Qiao Nian went offline. Just like what happened on her phone, the software disappeared from her laptop when she exited it. Wei Lu was still asking what was going on, why she fell silent all of a sudden. Qiao Nian kept her laptop before replying to him. "It's nothing. I was replying to someone. I'll settle the things in school. You don't have to worry about it. Have you been to Beijing?" She knew that Wei Lu would go to Beijing once in a while. She didn't know the reason, but she didn't care as well. But every time he went to Beijing, there would be a lot of background noise in his calls. As she expected, when he replied, there was a lot of static. "Yes, something popped up. Are you sure you don't need my help?" He knew how capable Qiao Nian was. He wasn't sure how many shares Qiao Nian had in Yuan Yongqing's Chung Phone Corporation, but she definitely had significant ownership of it. As she had recently reunited with her family, it would be hard for her to settle things herself. Qiao Nian nonchalantly said, It's a small matter. No need for your help. I can find it out in 3 days. She then tried to change the topic. When are you coming back? Why, do you miss your daddy? Wei Lu never let go of an opportunity to take advantage of her. Qiao Nian was already used to his antics. When she wanted to put her hand in her pocket, she remembered that her arm still had a dressing. Hence, she walked over to the study table and took a piece of gum from her bag. She then answered, I'll treat you to hot pot when you're back. Because of what you said, I'll come back tomorrow. Qiao Nian thought that it would take at least 2 to 3 days for the school to investigate the case. They found the culprit faster than she thought. They found out that the culprit was Zhao Jingwei on the second day. Zhao Jingwei was quite stupid as well. She didn't consider the surveillance cameras when she went there when everyone was at the morning exercise. She sneaked to the top floor when there was no one in the corridor and waited for the person that received the note to head to the back of the block. She then cut the ropes that held the steel rods, causing the rods to fall down and hit someone by accident. But she never thought that it would be recorded by the surveillance cameras. When she was called into the principal office, she denied all the allegations against her. She said that she was innocent and cried out for justice. She even accused the school of being biased and accusing the innocent. However, when the security officers showed her the recordings, she admitted to everything. First High School had 100 years of history. It was the first time such a severe case happened in the school, and they immediately called her parents. This was because it was no longer just some small squabbles between students. Her actions had injured someone and even almost got someone killed. The school called the police when her parents arrived. The police then took her away. As Zhao Jingwei was arrested during school hours, everyone saw the police coming into the school to arrest her. Plus, there were a lot of bystanders in the medical office. Hence, everyone knew that 2 girls from class were almost killed by the steel rods that fell from the top floor. It became a huge matter. A lot of the parents wanted the school to investigate the matter and to remove such students from the school. They wanted to protect their children from such students. Zhao Jingwei was hated by everyone in First High School. Even the students that were close to her were judged by everyone. This was what happened to Qiao Chun. She was the talk of the town when the professor from Qing University announced that he was coming to First High School. She was almost like a celebrity. This was because she was close to Zhao Jingwei, and everyone saw that she tried to speak up for the culprit at the medical office. Some rumors circulated that she was involved in this matter as well. Hence, Qiao Chun was suffering. In order to escape, she requested a few days of leave from the new form teacher, using the excuse that she had a piano exam. When Zhao Jingwei was brought to the station, Gusan sent a message to Yuan Chuan. Yuan Chuan called the police station immediately and said, "Treat this seriously." They sent her into a youth detention facility and wanted to send her through the legal procedure. They even rejected all requests for visits. Even though the Zhao family were from Rao City, they weren't rich. Zhao Jingwei's dad passed away a while ago. All she had was her mom. Her mom even fainted and was sent to the hospital when she heard about what happened in school. When she woke up, her daughter had already been sent to the youth detention facility. She had no choice and could only look for all her connections. She visited all the friends and relatives that she could find. However, the most powerful person she could find was the station master of a police station. When she visited him with gifts, she was thrown out after the person heard that it was regarding what happened in First High School. He said that he couldn't do anything about it. Mother Zhao didn't know what to do. After she visited all her connections, she remembered what her late husband told her before he died. She then decided to visit the Tang family. Although their family wasn't rich, Zhao Jingwei's dad drove for old Master Tang before. He even blocked a bullet for him when he was in danger. Even though they managed to remove the bullet, Zhao Jingwei's dad died from the trauma after the operation. The Tang family had told them that they owed them a favor and they could ask for anything. As Mother Zhao had just lost her husband, she didn't want to be connected with the Tang family. She had never approached them. However, now that Jingwei was in trouble, Mother Zhao had to seek their help. Qiao Nian wasn't at school for the past few days. With a lot of time on her hands, she went to the Chung Phone Corporation. The corporation was located in the city center. Its mirror-like exterior glistened under the sunlight. In the past few years, The corporation seemed to have viewed Rao City as its second headquarters. Yuan Yongqin spent a lot of money buying land in the area for the building. This caused the people in Beijing to become curious about what was so good about Rao City and why Yuan Yongqin was investing there. As Qiao Nian's bus stopped at Chung Phone Corporation, she got off holding her phone. She then slowly walked towards the building. The security officer knew her, so he allowed Qiao Nian to enter the building without any disruptions. At the lobby, Xiao Weiman was there as well. He had waited for a long time already. However, the secretary that hosted him previously wasn't there yet. He kept looking at his watch with a frown, obviously unhappy. Suddenly, he noticed a slender figure entering the lobby. A girl. He noticed that she wasn't tall, and she looked like Qiao Nian. Why was Qiao Nian able to enter the Chung Phone Corporation? He wanted to take a second look to check if he was wrong. However, the people that made him wait for half an hour finally came down. Chairman Qiao. Sumo had worked for Yuan Yongqin for a long time. He was always around Yuan Yongqin, and everyone knew that he was Yuan Yongqin's right-hand man. The moment he arrived, Xiao Weiman didn't dare to offend him. He stood up, offered his hand, and said, "Secretary Su, it's been a long time." Suemo shook his hand politely and then let go. Even though he was smiling, no one could tell what he was really feeling. He then explained to Xiao Weiman smilingly, "There was an important visitor just now. Chairman Yuan asked me to get some fruits. Sorry to keep you waiting." He made him wait for close to an hour because he was buying fruits. Xiao Weiman almost couldn't contain his anger, but he quickly hid it and said, "It's all right, I didn't wait for too long." He leaned forward and said eagerly, "Secretary Su, since you're here, let's head up." However, Suemo didn't bring him upstairs for Yuan Yongqin like the previous times. Standing up with an awkward expression, he said, Seeing he wasn't budging, Xiao Weiman asked, "Secretary Su, what's the matter?" Suemo looked at him and said calmly, "Chairman Xiao, haven't I said already? Chairman Yuan has guests today and doesn't have the time to meet you. Why don't you come over next time?" Xiao Weiman was speechless. Chung Phone Corporation had a good relationship with the Qiao Corporation. However, Xiao Weiman wasn't sure what was it that attracted businesses from Chung Phone Corporation. But everyone in the business knew that the Qiao Corporation would always be the first in mind for Chung Phone Corporation's projects. This was even though Qiao Corporation's proposal wasn't the best or the cheapest. However, Chung Phone Corporation would always award the project to Qiao Corporation. He had interacted with Su Mo before. Su Mo was treated as Yuan Yongqin's equal by everyone. However, Su Mo had always been respectful to Xiao Weiman, and this made him feel great in front of everyone. It was the first time Su Mo had talked to him like that. However, Xiao Weiman was an experienced businessman. He quickly composed himself. He forced a smile and pleaded, "Secretary Su, I have something urgent to look for Chairman Yuan today. Could you tell her and ask her for an audience for me?" Oh, Suemo looked as though he was looking down at Xiao Weiman. It was as though he was laughing at him for being unable to comprehend the situation. He must think that Xiao Weiman was an idiot that still dared to ask him for favors because he still carried the impression that he was Miss Xiao's father. However, he still smiled at Xiao Weiman and answered, "You can wait here then. If Chairman Yuan is free, I will notify you." Even though Xiao Weiman was furious, he couldn't do anything but wait. Meanwhile, he was still confused. Did he see Qiao Nian just now? Or was his vision getting worse? Even though Qiao Nian didn't come over often, Yuan Yongqin had created an elevator just for her. That lift went straight up to his office. Qiao Nian strolled out of the lift, and Yuan Yongqin immediately welcomed her. "My dear, you're finally here." She was wearing a red body-hugging dress today. It showed off her good figures as her hair was tied up into a bun, and you could see her glistening skin. Everyone knew that Yuan Yongqin was an iron lady at work. Whatever she says goes. However, right now she was giving off a loving vibe. There wasn't a hint of an iron lady in her actions now. She dragged Qiao Nian in while walking in her heels. She examined her multiple times before poking her arm nervously and then asked worryingly, "Is your arm all right? What did the doctor say?" Qiao Nian lifted her arm and said nonchalantly, It's just a blunt trauma. I need to rest it for a couple of weeks. It will recover eventually. Should I get a specialist from Beijing for you? Yuan Yongqin asked. Then, she laughed uncontrollably. I must have been too worried. You're a doctor already, and few in the country can compare to you in the medical field. You just like to keep a low profile. Else the girl from the Qiao family wouldn't be the talk of the town. The Qiao Chun girl from the Qiao family couldn't hold a candle to Qiao Nian. Her grades and looks were average. The only thing she had going for her was that she was born into a good family and knew how to dress herself up. She was also able to link up with the Tang family and behaved as though she was born into fame and fortune. She would only be famous in a place like Rao City. Those truly rich and famous wouldn't do the things that she did. It would be degrading for them. Look at the second and third generations of powerful companies. Which of them entered the show business? If Qiao Nian wanted to get famous, she would have been more successful than Qiao Chun. It was just that Qiao Nian didn't want to. It was rare for her to find a girl so young and yet so mature. Some of the things that she did even impressed her. I've heard from Wei Lu about what happened to you in school. I wanted to visit you, but since you're with your brother, I couldn't come over. I had to wait for you to come over. Thank God your hand is fine. Else the design team would go crazy. She poured a cup of juice for Qiao Nian and handed it to her. It's your favorite orange juice. I've added sugar for you so that it won't be sour. Have some and get some vitamins. Qiao Nian took a sip from the cup and put it down. She frowned and said, Aunt Yuan, you don't have to prepare these for me. I rarely come, anyway. She was aware that Yuan Yongqin had fresh oranges in her office fridge all the time. Hence, everyone thought that she liked oranges a lot. However, Qiao Nian knew that the oranges were for her. The reason behind this was that Yuan Yongqin found out that Qiao Nian hated all other fruits except orange. Hence, Wei Lu and Yuan Yongqin would prepare fresh orange juice for her all the time. Yuan Yongqin glared at her and disagreed. How could I do that? You do visit, after all. There's no way I don't offer you a drink, right? She had no children and recently fell out with her family. Hence, she was all alone. Qiao Nian was not just a business partner to her. She was her savior and was like a family to her. Even though she didn't like to say it out, she would always be thankful for what she did. She knew that Qiao Nian wasn't an expressive person because she was brought up in the Qiao family. The people from the Qiao family were hypocritical. Since she grew up in that environment, she must have never known love. Hence, Qiao Nian would feel uncomfortable if she said too much. She then changed the topic and said smilingly, My dear, the design team would have killed themselves if you didn't come. So, do you have a design in mind already? I'm sorry, I was busy with school and didn't have time to do it. I took some time to come up with a few during the break. You can have a look. Qiao Nian then passed her some papers with some things drawn on them. Yuan Yongqin took over the papers carefully. She smiled even before looking at them and said, How was it possible that something that you created is bad? Do you know how many companies are trying to headhunt you? The jewels that you have designed have received several international awards already. You're the genius designer S. How can no one know about you? Everyone knew that Changfeng had two money trees. The first was the cinemas all over the country. The second one was the high-end diamond brand, Seven. Seven's unique designs were well known internationally. During the yearly fashion week, the models walking down the catwalk would be wearing their products. Hence, the local celebrities were proud to wear products from Seven. However, few knew that designer S that was responsible for Seven was a female high schooler that just turned 18. This was especially rare in the design industry. Men were dominant there, and most of the designers for huge brand were male, even though some of them were gay. However, Qiao Nian was tearing down this glass ceiling. It felt as though there was nothing that Qiao Nian couldn't do. If she couldn't do it, it was because she didn't want to. Are you also not attending the exhibition this time? Yuan Yongqin asked her after keeping the papers. Qiao Nian wasn't interested at all. Not going, Yuan Yongqin lamented. Many powerful people from Beijing will be attending the event. If you're willing to show yourself. If Qiao Nian showed herself, no one could steal the attention from her, including Qiao Chun. She would shock everyone. However, Qiao Nian just nonchalantly shook her hand and said, I'm not interested. I don't like it when there are a lot of people. I know. I just can't stop myself from asking you. just in case you change your mind, Yuan Yongqin said, sighing. Even though she knew that she would be rejected, she couldn't stop herself. She wanted Qiao Nian to amaze those people with a judgmental mindset. After passing the papers to her, Qiao Nian didn't want to stay any longer. She chatted for a while until the business people knocked at the door. She then went off using the lift. Qiao Nian didn't go straight home after coming out from Chung Phone Corporation. As she was right next to the city center, she was reminded of the kid. She smiled and decided to visit Uncle Chun and the kid since she had nothing to do now. Since she was going to visit them, she wanted to head to the mall. She wanted to get him a toy as a gift. Since he had given up his bed previously, she had to return the favor. Qiao Nian was really happy as she walked towards the mall with her hands in her pocket. However, she didn't realize that someone came out after her after a while. It was Qiao Weiman, who had waited for almost 2 hours without managing to see her. It's her. Qiao Weiman saw that she was leaving. He was curious. He went to the front desk, pointed at Qiao Nian, and asked, "Hi, do you know the girl who walked off just now?" The lady at the front desk hadn't seen her much, as she would usually use her special lift. However, there was something unique about her that would allow people to remember her. Hence, when the lady saw her back view, she smiled and answered, "Are you referring to that lady? She's one of Chairman Yuan's guests. She will occasionally come." She went back to her work after replying to him. Qiao Weiman was dumbfounded as he thought about what she said. Qiao Nian, an important guest for the chairman of Chung Phone Corporation. What kind of joke was this? He couldn't wait anymore and called Su Mo. He then left Chung Phone Corporation with a lot of questions. There were a lot of tall buildings in the city center. It was a site of prosperity. It was time for afternoon tea. There weren't many people in a shopping center. Only people that didn't have work or rich people would be shopping at this time. She shopped around before heading to the second floor. There was a 7th store in the mall. There weren't many customers as most people wouldn't dare to shop around the store. Qiao Nian entered the store casually. When the storekeeper saw that someone entered, she greeted her warmly. "Hello, what kind of jewelry are you looking for? I can help make some recommendations." She was shocked after seeing that Qiao Nian was just a high schooler. However, she still maintained her smile. She didn't feel that Qiao Nian was a waste of time because she looked young. She followed Qiao Nian and asked politely, "Miss, what are you looking for? Bracelets, necklaces, earrings, or brooches? I can tell you where they're located in this store." Qiao Nian had never been to a 7th store before because Yuan Yongqin would send her every new product. She would often just leave them in their bags. She would lose those that weren't in the bags. She wanted to get a gift that was fun and pretty for the kid today. She thought for a while before answering, "Let's see the brooches then." "All right, brooches, right? Please follow me," the shopkeeper said as she let her in. The shop was huge, and its designs were dominated by black and white. Then, some metal accessories were used for decoration. It felt luxurious. The design was elegant and grand. There were some customers in the store. They were dressed to the nines as compared to Qiao Nian's casual clothes. They had makeup, the latest hairstyle, and branded clothes. They were obviously rich. The other shopkeepers lost interest after noticing that Qiao Nian was just a high schooler. Only the shopkeeper that greeted her when she entered continued to treat her properly. "We're here." She led Qiao Nian to a cabinet. The lights were shining on the accessories, causing the pretty brooches to glisten. "Let me recommend one for you." The shopkeeper put on her gloves and opened the cabinet, retrieved an animal brooch, and started to talk about it. "This brooch is really cute. Even though it's not the latest one, it is value for money. It really suits young people. It's shaped like a seahorse, and any dress will look cute with it." Qiao Nian took a look at it. It was cute indeed and would suit kids. However, she was drawn to a cat-shaped brooch. She pointed at it and asked, "Can I have a look at this instead?" "This?" The shopkeeper hesitated. As it was the latest fashion and it also had a lot of diamonds, it wasn't cheap. Qiao Nian was a student and wouldn't have the money for it anyway. However, she only hesitated for a while. She still retrieved it from the cabinet and passed it to Qiao Nian. She then said, "As this is the newest fashion, it's a bit more expensive. The seahorse-shaped brooch isn't bad as well. Even though the diamonds are small, they'll still glisten under the light." Qiao Nian started to examine the cat-shaped brooch. It was well designed. A pair of black diamonds were used for the cat's eyes. Even though the diamonds weren't big, they made the brooch cute. The kid would like it. As Qiao Nian thought about Yi Kitchen, she liked the brooch more. She passed it to the shopkeeper and said, "I'll have this one. Pack it for me, please." Ah. The shopkeeper was dumbfounded as her eyes opened wide. Staring at Qiao Nian, she asked, You're getting this one?" Qiao Nian nodded as she looked around. She looked at the seahorse that she recommended just now and said, "This one too." Qiao Nian looked just like a normal high schooler. Even rich ladies from Rao City would have to think for a long time when shopping at 7. They would often ask a lot of questions and try it on several times before deciding their purchase. The shopkeeper felt that she might not know how expensive the brand was and said, "Sister, this is really expensive. It's not just a few hundred or even a few thousand yuan." Another shopkeeper rolled her eyes when she heard that as she came over to fetch something. She scoffed. "You should just give it to her straight. Why are you wasting your time on a high schooler when you could be serving Madame Wang?" Lu Tingting was worried that Qiao Nian would be insulted. She looked at Qiao Nian and replied to her colleague, "Don't be like that. She's a customer." "She's not a customer if she's not paying," Wang Sha said as she fetched the brooch that Madame Wang wanted. She then turned to Qiao Nian and said, "Little miss, we're a 7 store. I'm not sure if you have heard of us, but it's not a place for a student like you. If you want to get a gift for your friend, you can go to the shop in the basement. Their stuff is cheaper. You could get a necklace or a bracelet for under $100. Huh. Since when did Aunt Yuan get so bad at judging characters? Why was a person like this a shopkeeper? Who told her that people like to show off their wealth? And that if you don't, you must be poor?" Qiao Nian replied with her raspy voice, "I don't have much money, but it should be enough for a gift." "Hee. Little miss, I understand that you have quite a bit of pocket money saved up. But as I've said, this isn't a place for you." Lu Tingting tried to pull her colleague aside to stop her. "Sister Sha, stop it. Go do your work. I can handle things here." She had gone through what Qiao Nian was going through now. She had also gone into a shop that she didn't know and found out that she couldn't afford the clothes there. Her mood was down after the shopkeepers insulted her. It became a traumatic experience for her. It must be normal for commoners like them. This lady was really pretty as well. There was this thing about her that she really liked. Since she was free anyway, she was willing to give this girl a tour of the shop. Since they wouldn't lose money for giving a tour, why should she make it so difficult for her? Just as she was trying to direct her colleague away, a black card appeared in front of her. As they were shocked, the pretty girl said nonchalantly, "I'll pay by card. Get the seahorse brooch as well." It was a black card from Citibank. Not only was she shocked, the other shopkeeper that belittled Qiao Nian just now was also shocked. It wasn't something that everyone could have. Even though they had worked in 7 for so long and served so many rich people, they had never seen a black card. Wang Sha froze and apologized immediately. She then tried to serve Qiao Nian in Lu Tingting's place. As a salesperson of luxury products, her main source of income was her commission. It was rare for her to have customers willing to spend so much money. A majority of them would only window shop here because the items were so expensive. Qiao Nian didn't care about her. She requested the original shopkeeper to service her purchase. Hence, the other shopkeeper was sorry for what she said. As she was waiting for the brooches to be packaged, Qiao Nian left the shop as she found that it was too stuffy. She then started to look at the phone to keep up with the stock market. When she opened the app, someone called out to her before she could take a look at it. "Qiao Nian." It was an unfamiliar voice. Qiao Nian looked up. She saw an old lady wearing a traditional costume from a distance away. Someone was helping her to walk. Her hair was gray from her age, and she was smiling at her. She remembered. She saw her at the waterside loft. She even gave her a jade bracelet. However, she left it at one of the drawers in Jiang Li's house. She even received an invitation from the Tang family a few days ago. As it was someone that she knew, Qiao Nian kept her phone and stood up straight. "Grandma, hello. Long time no see. Nian Nian. You're still as pretty as ever," Tang Wei said smilingly as she patted her hand. She then proposed, "Nian Nian, are you available? If you are, shall we grab a coffee at the cafe nearby? I have something to ask you." A handsome young man was next to her. You could tell that he was from the Tang family, as he looked like Tang Wei. He was looking at her. The girl was pretty as well, with nice facial features. She was wearing a hoodie, and she was fair. She had a dressing on her right arm, and her left arm was in her pocket. She also had dark eyes, with a nonchalant look on her face. How did Grandma know a girl like this? Tang Chi was shocked because Qiao Nian didn't fit into his image of a rich kid. His grandma would only know the rich kids from the different families in Rao City. Yet this girl had a wild look about her. She didn't belong to Grandma's social circle. Qiao Nian checked the time. It would still take a while before they would be done packing. She nodded and said, "I'm free." The cafe was next to the store. It was a famous cafe. Qiao Nian saw Shun Qiongji here before. They were known for their pretty dessert. Hence, a lot of rich housewives like to have afternoon tea here. Qiao Nian sat down and asked for a glass of water with a slice of lemon in it. Tang Wei ordered 2 cups of coffee and some of their signature desserts, and then returned the menu to the waiter. Shocked that Qiao Nian only ordered a glass of water, she asked, "Nian Nian, don't you want any coffee?" Their coffee is still drinkable. Qiao Nian took a sip of the water and answered nonchalantly, "I don't like bitter drinks." She never liked drinks like tea or coffee. She wouldn't be able to sleep after drinking them and would cause her to feel discomfort in her stomach. Hence, she didn't like to drink such drinks. Tang Wei then said smilingly, "Oh, I should have chosen another place. There's another place that's quite good as well. They have juices." Tang Chi then proposed, "Grandma, should we go there instead?" The Tang matriarch looked at Qiao Nian. She wanted to let Qiao Nian decide. Qiao Nian wanted to visit the kid at the hospital after buying the gifts. She wanted to leave after having a drink with them. Thus, she rejected. "It's all right. I don't like it. I'm fine with water." She didn't like to beat around the bush. She put down her drink and asked Tang Wei, "Grandma Tang, what do you want to ask me?" "It's nothing much, actually," Tang Wei said with a weird look on her face. "You should be preparing for your university entrance examinations already. Do you have a school in mind? How about Rennie? Do you like that school? If you like it, I have a reservation. Your grades are good, and it's a great school as well. It would be better than having to take the examination." Qiao Nian always believed that there was no free lunch in this world. She would have to be careful even if there was. She blinked, but she didn't respond to the proposal. After seeing that Qiao Nian didn't respond, Tang Wei continued awkwardly, "But I have a request. Could you forgive Zhao Jingwei for what she did?" Zhao Jingwei was connected to the Tang family? Qiao Nian was surprised. "How should I forgive her?" Tang Wei sighed and continued, "I'm at the end of my ropes, Nian Nian. Zhao Jingwei's dad saved my husband's life before. He died young because of this, and the Tang family is indebted to her. Her mom came to me a few days ago. They know that they were wrong already. Is it possible that you give them a smaller punishment and don't make a big deal out of it? Of course, I understand that you were wronged. I have a slot to send you into Rani. If you agree to this, I will make sure that you enter the university." She thought that Qiao Nian would at least consider it. However, Qiao Nian replied to her immediately, "I don't think that I'm suitable for Rani." What she meant was that she wasn't going to forgive Zhao Jingwei. Tang Wei's expression changed. She felt that the Tang family was almost as powerful as the Jiang family. They only lost out slightly because old Master Jiang went to Beijing a bit later. However, in Rao City, both the Tang and Jiang families were at the pinnacle of power. She even made a request to her as a senior. Qiao Nian should have agreed. Qiao Nian answered, "Shun Qingqing is my friend. If I wasn't there, Grandma Tang, you wouldn't be here speaking to me about this. A bowl falling from the 8th floor would kill someone, let alone a bunch of steel rods. Zhao Jingwei had the intent to kill. I won't try to influence the police in their investigation, but I won't be helping her as well." Qiao Nian then got up and said politely to Tang Wei, "Thanks for the drink, Grandma. If there isn't anything else, I will be heading off." As Tang Wei saw Qiao Nian leave after picking up her phone, she was so angry that she was shaking. This Qiao Nian, how could she not give her face? Qiao Nian went out to collect the brooches. The 2nd floor was for the men's accessories. Since she was already here, she walked around. The floor only had luxury goods. Qiao Nian went around and bought 3 bracelets. When she was about to leave, she was attracted by the clothes on the mannequin when she walked past a clothing store. She went in. "Welcome." The shopkeeper saw that she was holding the shopping bags of luxury goods and immediately welcomed her, even though she was only a high schooler. "Hello. Do let me know what you wish to see. I'll help you to get it." Qiao Nian pointed at the dark shirt on the mannequin and said, "Can I have a look at this?" "Okay." The shopkeeper handed her the shirt after taking it off. "This is our latest design, and it's the best for successful businessmen." Qiao Nian felt the shirt. It was made of good materials, and the workmanship was excellent. The buttons were wooden and were held by golden silk. It was luxurious. She could imagine how the shirt would look on a certain someone already. In the afternoon, Qiao Nian took a cab to the hospital. There were a lot of people there. However, she didn't have to queue as she wasn't seeing a doctor. She headed straight for the wards. There were a lot of people in the consultation area. However, it was silent at the wards. Patients were walking in the garden with the helpers. It was serene. As she was holding on to quite a bit of stuff, she didn't visit Uncle Chin first. She went straight up to the 8th floor. There were quite a few people in the VIP ward. Other than Gu San and Yi Wanchuan, a young man wearing a cap was there as well. Wearing a blue shirt, he looked youthful. He was trying to play with the boy in the bed. "Chin Shun, don't be so cold to me. The first thing I did, now that I'm back, is to find you. Yet, you're not willing to look at me. You should at least look at the toy I bought for you. It's a limited edition Gundam, your favorite. It's even capable of moving on its own. Are you not even looking at it?" He didn't turn back and continued to back-face him. It was clear that he wasn't interested. "Damn." Zhongli scratched his head and asked, "Master Wang, since when did he outgrow his love of Gundams? He's no longer interested in them." Yi Wanchuan looked at the silent boy. He leaned against the couch and said he's in a bad mood. Qiao Nian hadn't visited in 3 days. The boy missed her but didn't dare to look for her. Hence, he was angry with himself. Gusen knew what was going on. He then said smilingly to the clueless Zhongli, "Young Master Jiang, pass me the robot. Little young master will surely like your gift when he's feeling better." There, Zhongli passed the gift to him and complained. "Why is he in a bad mood, anyway? Who dares to make him angry? I'll take care of the person. How dare they bully our Chin-shun?" Before Gu-san could say that he wouldn't be able to beat the person, the boy stood up and screamed at him defensively. "Don't bully sister." Zhongli was confused. Zhongli saw that he was being protective of the person. The two of them exchanged glances. Then he asked, "Chin-shun, I'm trying to help you. Why are you defending the person that bullied you?" "Oh, whose sister?" Yi Kitchen didn't want to answer him. He then scoffed with a prideful expression. "Sister is my only sister. There's no other sister for me except for her." He only knew one sister that saved his life. She was the only one that pulled him by the hand when he was about to die. She even hugged him as she dragged him towards the shore. Zhongli was confused. Look at him. Zhongli knew that he wouldn't get anything out of him. He turned to Yi Wanchuan and asked, "Master Wang, who's the sister Chin-shun is talking about? Could it be that random girls were trying to hook up with Master Wang through Chin-shun?" He was worried. Situations like this won't happen before. Tons of women wanted to hook up with Master Wang. Some of them would just confess to him, but others would try to act like they needed help to attract his attention. Since they weren't able to do it through Master Yi, they had to do it through Chun-shun. Since he was a young child, Yi Kitchen always had women around him that showered him with affection, but Zhongli had never seen him treat any of them nicely. He would be scarier than Master Wang when he was angry and would torture them. Else, he wouldn't be known as the king of Beijing. His bad reputation came from the women that wanted to hook up with Master Wang. They would fail and spread rumors that Kitchen had a bad personality after being humiliated. Gusen looked at him in disbelief and asked, "Young Master Jiang, are you unaware? What should I be aware of?" Zhongli was confused and asked, "What's going on?" Suddenly, someone opened the door of the ward. Qiao Nian entered with bags of gifts. Shocked, his eyes widened. He exclaimed, "Nian Nian, why was his sister here?" Only Master Wang picked him up from the airport. Master Wang even told him that the dinner was canceled because Nian Nian went out. Why was she here anyway? Shouldn't she be out? Before he could react, Master Wang, who was uninterested just now, went over to her immediately. He was even faster than her brother. He took over the bags of gifts and said, "It must be too heavy for you. I can handle it." "All right," said Qiao Nian. Since some of the gifts were for him, she passed most of the bags to him and kept 2 of the 7 bags. She then walked towards the bed. Seeing her, the kid's eyes lit up. The bad attitude that he showed Jiang Li just now was gone. He was just an obedient cutie now. Blushing, he greeted her softly. "Sister, I've been a good boy. I've finished all the medication. My uncle is my witness." When he finished, he looked at his uncle with round eyes. It was obvious that he wanted to be complimented. Yuan Chuan scoffed. He put down the bags and said, "You asked him to listen to the doctor during our meal last time. He was obedient and listened to the doctors. They said that he's recovering and could be discharged in a few days." Qiao Nian looked at the little guy. His round face made him look really cute. She felt happier after seeing him. She walked towards him and passed him the bag. She patted him on the head and said, "Aren't you a good boy? This is for you." Yi Kitchen was elated. Sister bought him a gift. This gift was from his sister. He immediately took it and opened the present. He took out a box, opened it, and saw 2 brooches inside. One was in the shape of a cat, and the other was in the shape of a seahorse. They were adorable. "Do you like them?" Qiao Nian had never bought gifts for children before. Hence, she didn't know what they liked. But she felt that they would like cute objects like these. However, she realized that she was a boy and wasn't sure if he'd like them. She asked, "Are they too cute?" Yi Kitchen held on to them as though they were his precious and immediately said, "I love cute toys." Zhongli was jealous. He scoffed and exposed him. "Didn't you like tanks, planes, and Gundams? When did he like cute things, anyway?" Master Yi bought him several soft toys before, yet he had never played with them. But he had realized something and asked, "The sister you were speaking about before is Nian Nian?" Damn, he was an uncle, yet his sister was now an older sister to the kid. That's skipping 1 generation. Yi Kitchen didn't want to care about him, but since he was Sister Qiao Nian's brother, he had to reply to him. "Sister is Sister Nian Nian. Only Sister Nian Nian is a sister to me." After speaking, he then turned to Qiao Nian. He held the brooches shyly and asked, "Sister, could you help me with it? I don't know how to put it on." My ass. Zhongli thought. Everyone in the Yi family was smart. Yi Kitchen was smart as well. He was capable of assembling a gun by himself when he was young. Who would fall for his lie? However, Qiao Nian believed him. She walked towards him and asked softly, "Which one do you want to put on first?" Yi Kitchen could feel his heart racing seeing Qiao Nian so close to him. He started to flush as he pointed at the brooch shaped like a cat. He then said, "This one." Qiao Nian then put on the brooch for him. She even adjusted it for him. After that, she stood up and said smilingly, "I'm done." She gave him a thumbs up and said, "It looks great on you." Yi Kitchen smiled, and everyone could see his joy. He started to feel the brooch carefully. It was as though he was afraid that it wouldn't look nice on him. He asked nervously, "Really? Does it really look nice?" Qiao Nian nodded firmly and said, "You can ask your uncle." Yi Kitchen obeyed her. He turned toward his uncle and asked, "Uncle, do I look nice with this?" Yuan Chuan looked at how prideful he was and got jealous. He thought and replied smilingly, "It's fine. You should wear a cuter shirt next time." "Okay." Yi Kitchen then told Gu-san, "I should get a cat shirt next time." Gu-san felt sorry for Master Yi. Master Yi would always tell little young Master to wear cuter clothes. But he would reject him as he felt that he shouldn't be wearing such clothes as a guy. He wasn't even willing to wear shirts with tigers on them. Yet, he was willing to wear shirts with cats on them. Master Yi was such a poor soul. Zhongli was jealous and asked Qiao Nian, "Nian Nian, are the gifts only for Qin Qin? What about mine?" Qiao Nian remembered and answered, "Oh, right. I bought some gifts for you too." Yuan Chuan turned a serious look. Even Zhongli was receiving a present? What about him? He pouted and tensed up and emitted a cold aura. Qiao Nian took out 3 boxes from the bags. As though she was Santa Claus, she gave one to each of them. "I saw them when I was shopping. They look nice, so I got one for each of you guys." Zhongli thought that only he had a gift. However, when he realized that Master Wang also had one, he started to feel bad. Damn, even Gu-san had one. He then opened the box unhappily. It was a dark bracelet. Even though the design was simple, he could tell that it was branded. He couldn't remember what brand it was, but he remembered that it wasn't cheap. I have one too. Gusan was shocked and took the gift. He then saw it. It was similar to Jiang Li's. He knew the brand. It was as luxurious as 7. It would have cost hundreds of thousands of yuan. How did Miss Qiao have so much money? Could it be fake? He remembered that there was a shop that specialized in selling fake goods. A lot of young girls would shop there. This was because even though the goods were fake, the packaging was real and would look the same as the real deal. Jiang Li didn't care whether it was real or not. He put on the bracelet happily and took some pictures of it using his cell phone. He then sent it to his grandpa, dad, and uncle. He even posted it on his social media account. Jiang Li V. The whole world is suffering except me. Thank you, my darling. Smiley face. There was a photo of his bracelet attached. As he had 50 million followers, his fans saw the post when it was uploaded. They started to like and share his post. After that, they started to comment on it. I'm Brotherly Z's cutie. Ah, your arm is everything to me. Jiang Li's wife. Damn, hubby. I love your hand. Mommy fan. My son, I love you. Everyone is suffering except for my son. Everyone started to think logically after praising him. ABC without D. Wait, isn't this his official account? Who's the darling that gave it to him? Flying to dance. Damn, I'm jealous. What should I do? I want to die. Don't be in a relationship. Who's the bitch that stole you away from me? Someone then commented on Jiang Li's Weibo. You'll win if you fight me. I've read it from forum. Jiang Li had been getting close to the pretty, rich lady from Run E. Qiao Chun. They even attended the same show. They're both from Rao City as well. Could it be her? I've heard that Qiao Chun is his ideal type. Jiang Li was super popular. If someone saw him sneezing on the street, the hashtag to ask him to keep warm would be trending. Hence, even though it wasn't a serious comment, his female fans saw it. Hashtag Qiao Chun hashtag immediately started trending. Even though it wasn't in the top 10 trending hashtags, it brought some attention to her. Qiao Chun also posted something coincidentally. It was a photo of a flower with the caption, "Everything is beautiful." No one believed that they were together. However, because of this coincidence, some of the inexperienced girls believed it. They thought that something was going on. Young Master Jiang exited the app after showing off the present that Qiao Nian gave him. He didn't see how Qiao Chan was getting popular because of him. He even received a phone call from his grandpa. He asked him what the bracelet looked like in envy. He even asked him to send a bracelet to Beijing one day. His dad was calmer and asked him to take good care of his sister. However, the uncle was upset. He sent him 3 texts. The first told him not to brag about it. The second warned that bragging would bring him misfortune. The last one asked him to share the joy. Jiang Li was elated. He kept his phone after boasting to everyone. Then, he realized what was wrong. He stared at Yi Wangchuan's bracelet. Damn, Master Wang. Why are our bracelets black and yours is silver? It was pretty obvious that Yi Wangchuan's bracelet looked nicer than Gusan's and his own. Yi Wangchuan looked down as he stretched. When he noticed the difference, his eyes lit up and he smiled. He then hid his hand from Jiang Li and said, "Is that so? I feel that they look the same." It definitely isn't the same. Everyone can tell that you're elated over it. How is it the same? Ours is black and yours is silver. They're different in colors. Why does he deserve it anyway? Yi Wangchuan smiled uncontrollably. He then touched his bracelet and said happily, "Maybe she felt that you'd look better with the black bracelet. Hee, I will look good with the silver bracelet as well." Is that so? Yi Wangchuan continued to look at his bracelet. Everyone could tell that he wasn't paying attention anymore. Jiang Li was jealous as he looked at Yi Wangchuan's bracelet. He then continued, "Master Wang, can we trade? I feel that the black bracelet would suit you better. It's very low-key. The silver one suits me better. It's for the younger crowd." Yi Wangchuan looked up and glared at him. Jiang Li then surrendered and said, "Let's pretend that I didn't say anything. The silver one suits you better. You look young with it as well." He must have been crazy. It was like trying to pluck a tiger's tooth. But he really wanted the tooth. Jiang Li changed his approach. He turned to look at Qiao Nian angrily and asked, Nian, why is Master Wang's bracelet silver? Why are Gusan's and my bracelet black?" He was her brother. Goosen only knew her for a while. How could she treat them the same? Goosen was insulted even though he didn't do anything. He kept out of the conversation by remaining silent. Qiao Nian was looking through the things she bought today and replied without giving much thought. That's because he's fair and would look better with the silver bracelet. Everyone liked attractive things, and so did she. It was pleasing for the eyes. Zhongli was speechless. So he was too tan? I found it. Qiao Nian finally found the black bag from the pile. Zhongli saw that there was still an unopened bag. He walked over and asked, Nian Nian, this brand sells men's clothes, right? Men's clothes. It must be for him. Zhongli immediately felt better and asked smilingly, Is it for me? Qiao Nian snatched the bag back from him and said nope. Zhongli was shocked and chased after her. If not me, then who? It couldn't be from Master Wang again. As he expected, the girl walked towards Yuan. She handed him the bag and said, I saw this when I was shopping. I bought it because I thought that it'd look good on you. If you don't like it, it's fine as well. She bought it because it looked good. She had a feeling that if this shirt wasn't worn by him, its existence would be in vain. Only he could bring out the style of this shirt and bring life to the design. Yuan saw the hand stretched out to him. He was surprised. He thought for a while before asking smilingly with his raspy voice, Is this for me? Qiao Nian nodded and said, I bought this on a whim. You should see if you like it first. Guys and girls focused on different things when it came to shopping for clothes. Guys would focus on the quality, while girls would focus on the design. Hence, Yuan might not like what she liked. Who knew? He took over the bag without looking and said, I like it. He was so gentle when he said it. What was going on between the both of them? Alarms were going off in Jiang Li's brain. He immediately stood in front of Qiao Nian. It was as though he was protecting his vegetables from animals. Master Wang, you should take a look at it. What if it's not to your liking? Yuan stared at him. Jiang Li sweated profusely from his stare, but he stayed firm and stared back at him. You should try it on and know if it fits you. Nian Nian bought this on a whim. You should try it just in case it doesn't suit you. If that happens, I can have the shirt as well. Before he could finish, Yuan started to unbutton his shirt right in front of them, button by button. He then put on the shirt that Qiao Nian bought for him. The black shirt was a great fit. It was as though the designer used his body as a frame of reference when creating the shirt. He didn't button up fully, giving him a casual look. Bits of hair hung over his forehead, and his jawline was sharp with his facial features showing. He looked really manly. The black shirt looked great on him. He looked like a manga character in real life with his accessories. Even Jiang Li was attracted to him. Master Wang is too attractive. There was a saying in the inner circle of Beijing. There are 3 things of great beauty in the world: the moon, the seas, and Yuan. Yuan walked past him and stood in front of Qiao Nian. He looked down and gave her a deep look, asking, How is it? Qiao Nian's eyes lit up. It looked just as how she imagined it to be when she saw the shirt at the store. Everyone liked to look at attractive things. Qiao Nian was an exception. Hence, she praised him relentlessly. You look great. It suits you really well. Your fair skin complements this color. Yuan smiled. He nodded and said, I'll ask them to get more clothes of this color then. Zhongli was jealous. He didn't dare to stop Master Wang from stripping just now. However, he couldn't stand their conversation. Since he couldn't stop Yuan, he went over to Qiao Nian and asked, Nian Nian, why don't I get anything? Where's mine? Yi Kitchen was jealous as well. However, as he was afraid that Qiao Nian would not like him anymore if he behaved like Jiang Li, he only dared to grumble softly. I want sister to buy me clothes as well. He was just trying to test the limits. Yet he looked so cute. Yuan looked at him and said, I'll get some for you next time. Yi Kitchen pouted. He was so close to telling him that he didn't want the clothes that he'd buy. Qiao Nian heard what he said. She patted him on the head and said nonchalantly, What kind of clothes do you want? Yi Kitchen's eyes lit up. He hugged her hand and said, Cute ones. He wanted extremely cute clothes. That was his style in the future. Qiao Nian agreed and promised him, I'll get some for you in the future. It wasn't expensive, and since she had the money anyway, it wouldn't make sense to let it sit there. Jiang Li became even more jealous. He refused to give up and went up to Qiao Nian. He pointed at himself and asked angrily, Nian Nian, what about me? The two from the Yi family received gifts from his sister. The older one got a physical one, and the young one got the promise of a gift. However, Zhongli received the same gift as Gu-san. How could he tolerate such treatment? Qiao Nian wasn't a miser. Since he had asked about it already, she made him the same promise. Same. I'll get you one when I find something suitable for you. Zhongli was quite handsome as well. She felt that she had seen him somewhere before. She just couldn't remember where. Qiao Nian frowned. Since she couldn't remember, she stopped trying. She then took out the bottle that contained the gum. She took a white one out and passed it to the kid. Here, have one. Chun chun. All right. She would give him a sweet every time she came. Yi Kitchen was used to that already. He obeyed her and put the gum into his mouth. The aroma from the sweet filled his mouth. It was so sweet that he closed his eyes. It was really sweet. It was even sweeter than the previous one she gave him. Yi Kitchen sucked on the sweet slowly. He then tilted his head and stared at Qiao Nian curiously. He asked, "Sister, why is this sweet orange flavored?" Even though the sweet was white, it was orange flavored. So weird. He had asked people to get it for him, but they failed. The sweet seller told him that orange sweet would be orange flavored. Grape flavored ones would be purple. There are no such things as white, orange flavored sweets. Qiao Nian thought that he didn't like the flavor. She then said after a while, "It's just a random flavor that I chose. Do you not like it? I'll change it next time." The reason why the sweet had flavor was that she hated bitter things. Hence, even if this was medicine, she wanted to make it the least bitter as possible without hindering its effectiveness. The flavor of the medication wasn't important to her. It was easy for her to change the flavor anyway. She just had to change the type of sugar used. Yi Kitchen shook his head and said, "I like the orange flavor. I like all your sweets." Qiao Nian felt that he was young and would grow tired of it very quickly. She thought for a while and said, "I'll change up the flavors in the future." She hadn't tried creating an apple-flavored one. It sounded great as well. As they spoke, Yi Wanchuan realized that Qiao Nian had given Yi Kitchen sweets again. Even though it was really small, he felt that it wasn't just a normal sweet. He had tasked people to look for the sweet when Yi Kitchen asked, but it wasn't available in Rao City. Outside the ward, Zhongli dragged him out. Even though he was quite tall, he was still shorter than Yi Wanchuan. But he didn't care about it. He stood in front of him, frowning, then asked with a lowered voice, "Master Wang, what are you doing?" "What do you mean?" Yi Wanchuan's eyes turned red, and a strong sense of bloodlust emitted from him. He touched his chin, obviously angry. The bracelet on his hand was eye-catching. Zhongli knew him for a long time already. He asked directly, "What's going on between the both of you? I've only been away for half a month. Don't tell me that you're planning to lay your hands on her." He wasn't worried about asking Yi Wanchuan to take care of Qiao Nian previously. Even though Nian Nian had a marriage arrangement with Master Wang, few knew about it. He wasn't even sure if they would go through with the arrangement. Yi Wanchuan wasn't attracted to people so easily as well. He had never seen Master Wang attracted to someone before. Hence, when the agency gave him that assignment, he took it up without giving it much thought. Why did everything go wrong when he was back? Everyone from the Yi family seemed to treat Nian Nian differently now. Master Wang, Nian Nian is just 18. She's still in school and about to take her college examination. Know your boundaries. Yi Wanchuan looked at the silver bracelet on his wrist. It was really nice. He smiled and said, "Yup, she's of age already." Was this what a normal person would say? Jiang Li's face turned red from being angry. "I disagree. Even if you want to be in a relationship with her, she should attend university first. Then, I'll wait for her to complete her college examination." Strangely, this prideful guy was agreeable to everything. Jiang Li looked at him in suspicion. He then said, "So what were you doing?" Yi Wanchuan wanted to take his cigarette. He then paused and took the stick that would help him quit smoking instead. As he bit on the stick, he looked sexy. He interrupted. "It was just a chat." "That was just a chat to you?" Jiang Li wanted to rebut him. "You remove your clothes." With the seductive look just now, even the birds in the sky would be attracted to him. Yi Wanchuan kicked him and said, "It's all right. I know what you're going to say. I know my boundaries. You should know yours." Jiang Li was speechless. He was single. What boundary was there to know? In the ward, Qiao Nian's phone rang after chatting for a while with the kid. She checked the phone. It was a call from Qiao Weiming. Qiao Nian couldn't bother to pick up. She treated him the same as Qiao Chun and blocked him. The world was peaceful again. Yi Kitchen saw that she was frowning when she kept her phone. He then asked her in concern, "Sister, did a bad guy call you? Else, why would she be so irritated?" It was obvious that she was in a bad mood when she saw the phone number. Qiao Nian had never seen such a sensitive and mature child. She patted her on the head and looked at his pretty face. She immediately felt better. She replied, "No, it's just a spam call. I've blocked the number already." Oh, Yi Kitchen was a smart child. He was capable of solving the Rubik's Cube when he was 5. He was even brought up in the Yi family from the capital. He had been through so much despite his young age. Hence, he knew that she was lying the moment she opened her mouth. But he didn't want to expose her. He even suggested to her, "My youngest uncle is great at solving such an issue. If someone like that calls you again, you can tell him. He's really good at it." "Really good at what?" Jiang Li and Yi Wanchuan asked when they returned after their chat. It was rare to see the kid praising his uncle. Even though Yi Kitchen would listen to Master Wang, he was still a rebel. He was, in fact, the king of rebels. He would yield to no one. It was almost impossible for him to praise someone. Gusan continued smilingly. "Miss Qiao received a spam call just now. Little young master proposed to her that she could ask Master Wang for help if she encountered this again. Or you can look for me as well." Jiang Li then moved on from his topic. "Nian Nian, what do you want to eat for dinner?" "My treat." Qiao Nian wasn't particular about food. She kept her gaze down as she said, "Anything works. Anything works that makes things difficult." Jiang Li put his hands on his hips and gave her an annoying expression. His bright purple hair had been highlighted with streaks of red. The flamboyant colors made his hair resemble a colorful bird feather. "Master Wang, what about you? Anything you'd like to eat?" Yi Wanchuan glanced at Qiao Nian, who was in a hoodie. Her cool aura made her stand out, and his eyes deepened as he looked at her. He said, "Let's have hot pot." He remembered the last time he'd asked her to decide. She'd picked a hot pot-like meal by a stall. She had even specially added chili oil to her broth. That spicy fragrance was still fresh in his mind. "Hot pot." Jiang Li looked at him, slightly bewildered. "Don't you dislike that sort of food?" Had he changed? Gusan looked at him curiously as well. Master Wang had a typical northern region appetite and did not fancy spicy food. "It's not bad if you have it once in a while." He was a clean freak and so suggested, "Since we're having hot pot, let's not have it outside. I'll prepare it." "Jiang Li, you'll get the ingredients. Is that all right?" Gusan's jaw almost dropped. Master Wang was cooking? Jiang Li reacted very quickly and made an okay gesture. "Okay, I'll get it." "Haha. As long as you're preparing it, I'll get anything you ask me to." Gusan, inform Kitchen's doctor that he isn't returning to the hospital tonight. "All right." Gusan quickly went to inform the doctor. Qiao Nian looked around. She seemed to be the only one with nothing to work on. "What about me? How can I help?" Yi Wanchuan looked into her eyes that seemed to hold galaxies. His gaze was deep and his voice low and captivating. "You don't have to do anything. Just wait for dinner." Qiao Nian thought that he was joking. Then again, her hand was injured, so there was nothing much she could help with. Since Yi Wanchuan did not want her help, she might as well take the lad upstairs to play on the computer when they returned to the villa. She had a huge variety of new games on her computer, some of which required softwares that the country had not imported yet. However, she had managed to directly source it from overseas. Yi Kitchen was bedazzled. Qiao Nian taught him how to navigate through the games, and then sat beside him to use her cell phone. 2 hours later, they were called downstairs for dinner. Qiao Nian took the boy, who was still more keen on games than on food, downstairs. There was a thick scent coming from the hot pot broth. Jiang Li stood by the pot and excitedly waved at her. "Nian Nian, hurry up. Wash your hands, and then we can eat." Gusan was bringing the ingredients out as he said smilingly, "Miss Qiao, you can get ready to eat now." She took the boy to the washroom for them to wash their hands and happened to see a man in a blue apron coming out of the kitchen. His voice was low and alluring. "Come over and eat." Qiao Nian raised a brow, slightly surprised. He really prepared it? She took her seat, with Yi Kitchen insisting on sitting beside her. On her other side was that classy man. The two Yi lads were sitting by her sides, as if they were protecting their queen. By the time Zhongli came over, he couldn't even find a seat he wanted. He had no choice but to sit opposite the row of 3 and eye them as he cursed at himself for not being quick enough. Qiao Nian didn't quite notice who was sitting beside her. She didn't think too much about it at all. A pair of chopsticks appeared before her as the man said, "Try it out first. Sister, here's a bowl for you." Yi Kitchen didn't want to lose out and eagerly handed her a bowl. Qiao Nian received chopsticks with her left hand and the bowl with her right. "Thank you." And then she spent all her energy on eating. Yi Wanchuan's culinary skills were better than she had expected. There was a rich, buttery fragrance in the hot pot broth, and the chili was nicely fried with peppercorns. There was a layer of chili oil on the broth, and it was evident that this was well prepared. She took a spoonful of it to taste it. As she guessed based on the looks of it, it tasted authentic. The buttery broth had the right level of spice. Qiao Nian put in some fatty beef strips and tripe. The hot pot was extremely flavorful, and she was sweating while she ate. The man placed a can of herbal tea by her side. "Have something to drink." Qiao Nian could barely take the spice anymore. She picked up the herbal tea and took a big gulp. With the cool tea on her burning tongue, she felt much better. She leaned back in her chair in satisfaction and did not feel like moving. Zhongli was in roughly the same state. His face was reddened from all the chili consumed, and he had practically collapsed in his seat. He gave the man beside Qiao Nian a thumbs up. "Master Wang, given your culinary skills, you can consider having a side business in hot pot." Qiao Nian was excited to hear this. She turned around and blinked at him. "I think so too. It really was delicious. At the very least, she'd never tasted better hot pot than his in Rao City so far." Yi Wanchuan was all ready to rebuke Zhongli initially, but upon hearing her hoarse but tender voice, his lips curled up and he swallowed those words. "We'll see when the time comes." Gusan's eyeballs almost fell out of their sockets. He couldn't figure out why Yi Wanchuan would agree to it. Was Master Wang not busy enough with his work? And of all businesses, why consider opening a hot pot store just because of Miss Qiao's casual remark? He couldn't imagine the expressions of those people in Beijing if they found out that Master Wang opened a hot pot store. Perhaps their jaws would drop as well. Qiao Nian's hand was injured, so she had a good reason not to go to school. Having given Qiao Nian 2 weeks off school, Shun Hui was hurrying her to get back for lessons. Qiao Nian slowly strode into school after the second lecture of the morning was over. Before she reached her classroom, she bumped into Qiao Chun and a few other Class B girls. Qiao Chun was in a flowy, cream-colored dress, and it looked like it was a female clothing brand under the umbrella company 7. Aunt Yuan had sent her a few images of their clothes before and asked her to pick out some, but she didn't like the designs at all and so gave them a pass. But she had a very vivid impression of the dress Qiao Chun was wearing. As a designer herself, albeit of a different style, she found this dress to be absolutely disastrous. Huge patches of lace were put together with a puffy layered skirt. When she first saw the image of the dress, she actually doubted anyone would wear something this flamboyant out. Now that she saw it with her own eyes, TSK, as she expected, it was too much to be worn on an ordinary day. Especially because the person wearing it was Qiao Chun. Qiao Chun's facial features were rather simple. To put it nicely, she was perhaps charismatic. But to be awfully frank, she just looked ordinary, maybe even a little petty. But she chose to wear a pompous dress that did not match her aura at all. Her bland looks were not compatible with such a design, and this branded dress wasn't better on her than her usual outfits. But Qiao Chun did not think that way. 7's items were hard to get hold of, and even the subsidiary firms under 7 were extremely popular. It was impossible to purchase their items without pre-ordering, so it was really a hassle to even get anything of that brand. Not many people in Rao City managed to get 7's goods. Fugu even had to look for his connections in order to get her this dress. She practically wore this the moment she received it. "Chun, I was about to ask just now, is this dress from 7? One of the girls around Qiao Chun asked enviously. Qiao Chun lowered her head as if she was feeling shy. She said gently, "Do I look weird wearing this?" "Why would you look weird? You look so good in it. I think you're the only person in first high school who can pull off 7's outfits." This person was obviously a fan of the Seven brand and valued it a lot. Their designs are very creative, especially the products of their resident designer S. Most people aren't able to pull it off. I absolutely love S's designs. I plan to major in design when I'm in university, and I really hope to see him in person someday. Until now, nobody knows whether S is a man or a woman, or whether that person is fat or skinny. I feel like S is a man, though. The designs are simple and minimalistic and never have too many miscellaneous elements. The colors are also extremely bold. In any case, female designers don't usually come up with such designs. Her designs were very manly. Qiao Nian raised a brow. Her designs were simple because she didn't like doing troublesome things, including drawing troublesome designs. What did liking simplicity have to do with gender? Couldn't women design simple stuff too? Xiao Chun and her friends did not notice her as they tried to curry favor with Xiao Chun. Isn't Chun Chin's family very close to the Seven's parent company, Chung Phone Corporation? Ask her if she's seen S before. The moment this was said, the few girls turned towards Xiao Chun. The girl who liked the Seven brand looked even more obsessed with her. Chun Chun, you've seen S in person? Xiao Chen's expression stiffened as she lowered her gaze. I did. She had never seen that legendary designer from Seven before. It wasn't that she didn't want to meet that person, but that she had been ruthlessly rejected even when she got her father to ask on her behalf. The designer hadn't even been willing to add her on WeChat. But it wasn't a big deal to exaggerate things a bit. In any case, these people would never get a chance to go to Chang Phone Corporation, much less meet that genius designer. Xiao Chen exhaled and calmed down, immediately feeling more confident of herself. You've met S before? Is S a guy or a lady? How old is S? I feel like he should be quite young, since his designs aren't as regulated or dull as the renowned older designers. Xiao Chun smiled and appeared sensible. I'm sorry. It's not convenient for me to reveal this. Ah, you can't even say whether it's a man or a woman. Xiao Chun feigned a guilty expression and said quietly, "S doesn't want his or her gender to be known, so I shouldn't be saying it either." Qiao Nian looked at her pretense and felt as if she was watching a clown. As she walked past them, she said casually in her slightly hoarse voice, "It's a lady." Xiao Chun hadn't seen Qiao Nian in half a month. Qiao Nian looked even more beautiful than before she got injured, and her aura was more attractive too. Her rebellious and cool vibe was so alluring. Qiao Nian clenched her fist and retorted, "What lady?" Qiao Nian had already passed them, but upon hearing the question, she stopped. She turned around and glanced at Xiao Chun coldly. "The S person you're talking about, she's a lady." What was Qiao Nian trying to do? She had just declined to reveal S's gender, and here Qiao Nian was claiming that S was a lady. Xiao Chun was barely holding on to her act. Moreover, with Zhao Jingwei's matter, she stepped forward and blocked Qiao Nian's way. "How do you know S is a lady? You met S." That genius designer was extremely elusive. Many people in a higher society were after Seven's outfits, and many rich ladies were loyal fans of S. They hoped to invite S as their guest, but Yuan Yongqin rejected all of them. Until today, no one had really invited that designer to a meal before. Qiao Nian's family were ordinary folks of Luohe County, and her grandfather was a teacher for many years. They barely had connections. That was all. With this sort of background, she couldn't even hold a candle to the Qiao family. How could she say so confidently that S was a lady? It was as if she'd met S in person. Qiao Nian didn't expect Xiao Chun to dare to stand in her way. Qiao Nian slipped one hand into her pocket and raised her brow. Her eyes were dark and deep as she asked in return, "Didn't you say you've met her before? Shouldn't you know whether she's a lady?" Xiao Chun was caught off guard and held her breath for a moment. She steadied herself and then pushed through, saying, "Of course I know." Qiao Nian burst out laughing. What did she even know? Then, why are you standing in my way? Xiao Chun bit her lip and refused to let her leave. I just want to say that you shouldn't be so snobbish in the future. If someone exposes you, you're only going to embarrass yourself. Qiao Nian found this ironic and silly. She was considered a snob just because she said that S was a lady? Xiao Chen's eyes flickered, and she looked at Qiao Nian boldly. You don't even know S, and you couldn't have met S in person before. You say that S is a lady, but if S is actually a man? Qiao Nian cut her off fiercely. If S is a man, I'll undergo gender reassignment surgery. Qiao Chen did not react in time. Qiao Nian bumped into her and walked off. This Qiao Nian. Qiao Chen fumed, and her cheeks grew slightly red. Her fingernails dug into her skin. She was just a commoner from Luohe County, but she sounded as if she had met S in person before. How could Qiao Nian possibly know someone like S? She shouldn't have been so shocked by Qiao Nian just now. She shouldn't have let her off so easily. Qiao Chun was annoyed at herself, and the other girls came over to comfort her. Forget it, Chun Chun. She's obviously spouting nonsense. Why stoop to her level? Exactly. The Class A students are all like that. They think they're so great because they have good grades. Only one person was watching Qiao Nian as she left. She said a little skeptically, "Why do I feel like she isn't lying?" It was easy to tell a liar from one who spoke the truth by looking at their eyes. Qiao Nian's eyes were bright and clear when she said that S was a lady. She didn't look like she was lying at all. So, did Chin Chin not know S, or was Qiao Nian spouting nonsense? It was break time. The Class A students were having fun in class. Shun Qingqing and a few others immediately came over the moment Qiao Nian entered the classroom. Nian Nian. Shun Qingqing burst into tears the moment she saw that Qiao Nian was safe and sound. "I'm sorry, it's all my fault." She shouldn't have been a smart aleck to hunt down the prankster on her own. Qiao Nian had gotten hurt in order to protect her. Qiao Nian couldn't bear to watch people cry. She wiped Shun Qingqing's tears and flashed her wrist at her. "I'm all right now, aren't I? It's just a minor injury. It'll be all good in no time." Liang Bowen had accepted Qiao Nian since Shun Qingqing's incident. He immediately pulled her in and wiped her tears. He then asked her to stop crying. He then told Qiao Nian, "Sister Nian, Qiao Chen has been really high profile when you weren't around. I've heard that the professor from Qing University is coming today. Have you seen her? She's wearing clothes from 7 to get his attention." Liang Bowen was rich too, so he could recognize the brands that his classmates couldn't. He knew how expensive Qiao Chen's skirt was. Someone would have worn the same thing for a red carpet event. Chen Yuan scoffed. "That's her style, right? She's always been like this. She'd be high profile when there was an opportunity to do so, just that she would pretend to be low profile and act like she didn't care. But secretly, she craved attention. Everyone in the Qiao family was just like her, vain." Someone then continued, "I knew that her skirt wasn't normal. Why would someone wear a skirt like that to school? It's for the Qing University's professor, after all. Even though she tried so hard, she's nowhere as attractive as Sister Nian. She always calls herself the prettiest artiste online. She even paid for someone to say that she's the prettiest girl from first high school in the decade. Such a shameless act. The reason she was voted as the prettiest was that Sister Nian wasn't studying here back then. Else, that'd be impossible for her." Jiang Tingting initially fought with Qiao Nian because of the arguments between the two classes. However, since Qiao Nian had won the argument by getting first place in the examinations, she started idolizing Qiao Nian and would support her in everything. She was a loyal supporter of Qiao Nian. That's right. There were people not good at studying in every class. That included Jiang Tingting and her close friends. When she spoke, her other friends agreed with her. Xiao Chun is touching up her makeup all the time, yet she pretends that she's barefaced. She can only fool guys. Every girl can see that she has foundation on. She even drew her brows and used lipstick. Jiang Tingting hated Xiao Chun even more and said angrily, "Senior Fu Gu must be blind. I want to start a Kickstarter to raise money to treat his eyes." Why is he attracted to Xiao Chun, and why did he ask his professor to support Xiao Chun? He's too good for her. Liang Bowen glanced at Qiao Nian and said, "I'm curious whether he's blind as well. Why would he be interested in Xiao Chun and not Sister Nian? He was a guy as well." It was obvious to him that Sister Nian was 100 times better than Xiao Chun. The bad thing was that she isn't from a rich family and wasn't related to the Qiao family. Else, with her capabilities, Qiao Weiman wouldn't have treated her so coldly and even thrown her out of the house. He sighed and thought that it was such a pity. However, he accepted that this was out of his control as well. Even though he felt sorry for her, Qiao Chun was still the real daughter of the Qiao family. Qiao Nian listened as they chatted. When she realized that their conversation wasn't ending, she put down her stuff. She looked up and asked, "Do you know when the professor from Qing University is coming?"